Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I hear this often from women who are interested in working with me, and they usually come to me and say, if I could just stick with it, I could lose the weight. What I want to ask is, why haven't you stuck with it, right? What keeps getting in your way? So, on today's episode of the Weight Loss for Women Over 40 podcast, we are going to talk about just that. We're going to be talking about how to stick to a weight loss plan. We are going to dive into what are some common things that are getting in your way and what you can do to navigate around them. So, welcome to the Weight Loss for Women Over 40 podcast. I am your host, Nikki T, and I am the lady to call when you are ready to lose weight for the last time. So, if you are new here, welcome. Come on in. Hopefully, you're going to binge listen to some other podcasts, get a feel of what my method is. And if you are a loyal listener, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I think we're in year 3 or 4. No, I think we're in year 4. Anyway, if you've been with me for a long time, thank you again so much. I cannot tell you. I talk about it all the time on the episodes saying, when I get my results for where this podcast is reaching, it just blows my mind every single time. So thank you. And I don't know how many women have come up to me or I've talked to that thank me for creating this podcast and how it has helped them tremendously. I did have a couple people be like, "You're giving too much information away." I don't feel that. I am so grateful that I get to do what I do, and I just feel honored that you guys show up and you listen, and I'm so grateful that this podcast is helpful because nobody needs to hate themselves skinny. I've been there. It's not a fun place. You don't need to constantly obsess over every little thing that you eat. Again, I was there too. It is not a fun place to live your life in. So, if this podcast has helped you or inspired you to go after the body that you want and the body that you deserve, I want to ask if you would write a written 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts. When you share your opinion, your written review, it helps other people find this podcast so they can know that they don't have to force themselves into some crazy diet or pill or shot to get the body that they want. So if you feel drawn to write a review, again, I would be completely honored and grateful. The directions are in the show notes where you're listening to this. And if for some reason they're not, because I know this is popped out on all different avenues of media, but you can always go to my website podcast page, and at the bottom there are instructions on how to do an Apple written review. So if you don't see them in the show notes or somewhere around this video or wherever you're listening to it, go to weightlossforwomenover40.net/podcast, and the instructions are down below. My biggest tip to writing a review is do it in a notes section first and then pop it into Apple, because they will not let you edit or anything like that once it is live. So, but if you feel so inclined, go for it. So let's dive into today's topic of how to stick to a weight loss plan. So when I talk to women who say they just need to stick with it, we dive deeper into the conversation. And these phrases come up like, if I could just force myself to work out, or force myself to get up to go work out, or if I could force myself to eat healthier, or I just can't seem to stick with something too long, like I get bored. Again, I remember saying that a lot in my own head of like being bored. For me, it was mostly workouts. But you don't need to force yourself into something because it doesn't work. The more you force, the more you push against, that inner rebel comes out, that I like to call it your teenage rebel. The one that, as a parent, you tell them not to go to a party and then they sneak out and go to a party anyway. I was very fortunate my kids did not do that. Maybe it was because we were isolated in a very country atmosphere. Like they'd have to walk a long way to get to somebody else's house. Anyway, I I go off on a tangent. Here we go. So be careful of that inner rebel that comes out. Because as soon as you say, I need to buckle up, I need to stick with it, I just need to grit my teeth and go for it, a lot of times that inner rebel comes up and will sabotage the crap out of you. So reasons that come up why you can't stick to a weight loss plan are, this is what I hear from everybody: I can't fit my workouts into my day, right? I get it. You're busy. Um, depending on what you're doing, if you're running your own business, there can be a lot of time invested in there. But I want to offer that there are ways you can fit in a workout throughout the day. So open your mind to not as structured workouts, something with a little bit more flexibility. Second thing is I have to work long hours. Again, I get it. And the way I teach my method, it does not it doesn't take 6 hours a day to make it effective, right? It literally is throughout the day as you're going along, you're going to be able to implement what I teach. So you don't have to worry about logging off or blocking off long hours of every day in order to make this happen. The next thing is I can't find the foods on this diet. Okay. So if you're in dieter's mentality and you're still selecting diets or meal plans that you have to go find some foreign fruit that is so expensive in the grocery store, if it even exists in a regular grocery store, just to make it fit into this diet thing that you have found, don't do it. Right. The other thing that I find for not sticking to a weight loss program is I don't like to eat bland food, right? People are saying I don't like bland food. I don't think anybody likes bland food. We are meant naturally to want foods that tingle in our mouth, right? That taste good, that give us a hit. Now, with that said, the way our food is going and has been going, there are definitely additives and chemicals and enhancements, right? Those cookies that you're eating that could sit on a shelf for 9 years, they are enhanced and they are going to hit those pleasure senses in your brain, which makes you want them more, which makes eating quote unquote healthier a little bit more bland. But if you're in the diet arena, chances are you're going to feel like you're eating cardboard all the time. I do not subscribe to that at all. My clients know that there are no foods off limits. You can eat the cookies, you can eat the chicken, you can eat the broccoli, you can eat whatever the heck you want. So the next one is spending hours and hours trying to figure out what to buy at the grocery store and then having to meal prep on top of making meals for the rest of your family, for everyone else. This is a big thing that I hear women, especially when I talk to them. I get it. I was there also. I made the decision of I'm not doing that anymore. This is quite a few years ago. I decided I was going to make a bunch of chicken, a bunch of broccoli, a bunch of whatever it was. And then they were old enough, my kids were old enough that they could go into the refrigerator, pull it out, plop it on a plate, heat it up, and eat, right? So I know that method is probably not for everyone in the sense of like not making dinner anymore, but you have options for sure. So again, this is all too common when you are in dieter's mentality and you decide to start a diet or some quick fix 12-week program and then try to repeat it, right? So this is another reason why it doesn't stick. So the reason you aren't sticking with it is typically because the diet or generic weight loss program you signed up for is so far from your normal base, like your current baseline of what you're doing, that it's not sustainable. It would be like someone dropping you in the middle of a desert with a stick and a cup of water and telling you to figure out how the heck you can survive. Like you're on your own, just figure out how to get out of the desert, right? You need some tools, you need some skill sets in order to do this. But I also, when you're dropped in that desert, that makes for a great reality TV show, but it's not realistic in everyday life. It's not realistic for sustainable weight loss. It's way too extreme, right? So diets drop you in the desert. This can be said for shots, for surgery, for pills and potions, right? The shakes, all the things. And I get it. I get you want it fast. I get that you are in so much pain about not losing weight that you would do anything to make it end. But you're not doing the true work, the work that makes the weight loss last. And that work is mindset. And as I continue to spread my word on this, I have noticed that there are many different meanings as to what people think mindset means. So for me, mindset is really about how you think. Mindset is being on to your thoughts that are sabotaging you. Noticing when your mindset is incongruent with what you say you really want. Mindset is being able to navigate those thoughts that derail you and shift into productive, helpful, and supportive thoughts that get you to your goals. When you decide to change your life, you need to change your mind before you can change your physical environment. I constantly am telling my clients, we go from the internal to the external. You cannot change the external without going internally first. If you try to change the external, you will repeat, like you will go back to your default patterning. So meaning if you don't like your body, that's an external circumstance. And if you don't do the inner work, you may lose the weight, right? Perfect example of a 12-week diet workout program. You may lose the weight. You're doing the external stuff, right? The food, the exercise. But what you're not focusing on is the internal stuff. And that's where the lasting change comes from. So you have to do the inner work, the mindset work first before everything changes, before your physical body changes, before you find you're interacting with different people in your lives, all the things. So I have worked with some clients that were able to make the big leap using my mindset method and see incredible changes. So meaning they come in, they get it, they apply it, and then go. And these women are typically very open to coaching and eager to get results. But the majority of my clients need to start off a little bit smaller. Neither is right or wrong. And if you're like, I want to get it fast, you're in dieter's mentality. Right? Would you rather have lost 10 pounds in 12 weeks and know that it was sustainable and you are never seeing those pounds again? Or would you rather lose 10 pounds and be like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I think it's going to, of course, it's going to come back. I'm going to gain it all back because I'm stopping this program, right? I'm pretty sure you want the lasting, long version. So I want you to have that huge goal, whatever that goal is for you, the body that you want, right? And if you feel like it's too big, go bigger. But the day-to-day changes are going to make the most impact for you, and they need to be small and doable for you. This is why I love being able to customize my clients' experience for them. So I like to give this example a lot with my clients. So I live in the East Coast over in New Jersey, and if I was going to drive to California, I'm not in my car the whole ride over there going, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get to California. Why am I not in California? Why am I only in Ohio? Why am I not there yet? No, I am taking the journey from New Jersey through all those states, enjoying the scenery, enjoying what the countryside is offering, enjoying interacting with the people along the way, maybe stopping at a beautiful hotel, whatever it is. I'm enjoying the journey, right? I'm still thinking about California and how I want to get there, but I'm enjoying the process as you go through. That's your day to day. So we see these glorified 12 weeks transformations, right? But what you don't see is how extreme you have to be in order for you to have that transformation. And that's what I'm saying. It's getting dropped in that desert again. Very few come out of these programs and keep up with the plan, right? They get rah-rahed up, they get so juiced up, and I'm not opposed to them in the sense of like, I get it. I get that juice you want to get, that hit of like grit and I can do this type thing. But again, it's not sustainable. Like if you're struggling with those same pounds that you have been for 4 decades, my suggestion is get your head squared straight, learn how to lose the weight. Then if you want to go do one of those hardcore programs later on, go for it, because you're going to have the mindset set up in order to be successful at it, and go for it, right? So very few people come out of those extreme workouts or those plans and are able to keep it. Um, do you remember a time when you probably did one of these 12-week programs that are very extreme and you might have saw results, and then shortly after it was over, the pounds started coming back and they brought some friends? It's because your brain is not completely on board or in line with what you are mentally and physically doing, which is why you're going to revert back to gaining weight and your default ways after the 12 weeks are over. Now, I have a 12-week program. It is not extreme. As a matter of fact, it just opened up for enrollment. So if you're listening to this episode in July of 2024, the program is going to start in September. This is a 12-week program that is unlike any other weight loss program that you probably ever experienced. It is not extreme. In fact, I had clients tell me they kept waiting for me to tell them what foods we were going to eliminate or what things we were going to eliminate from their life. And I never did. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. It's about what you are getting out of it, not taking away. So, would you rather be lean for 12 weeks in some extreme workout program or for a lifetime? My 12-week group program focuses on losing the first 10 pounds because they can feel like the hardest, especially if you've been losing and gaining over and over and over and over again. But the biggest difference is that I teach you exactly how to continue to lose weight after you are out of the 12-week program. I have clients that keep in touch with me after they're done working with me, and they tell me that they are continuing to lose more weight using what I taught them. So how awesome is that? You get to be in an incredible group of women working with me and getting coaching from me and losing those first 10 pounds. And then you know exactly how to keep losing weight for the rest of your life. I teach you in the 12-week program. There's no like extra thing at the end. Inside that 12-week program, I teach you how to lose the 10 pounds and how to keep losing the 10, whatever number you have thereafter. So how do you stick to a weight loss program? It really comes down to commitment, a commitment to yourself. It's like when you have a baby, you didn't decide to have a baby and then give up being a parent when it gets hard. Yes, there are frustrating times, but you didn't give up. You committed. You're like, yes, I have this baby, this kid, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to take care of them. You were there for your child no matter what, even on the days that you didn't want to be. So sticking to a weight loss plan is not a short-term goal. It's not about losing the weight and then gaining it back. It is a lifelong journey because you will always be living in your body. You take that body of yours everywhere. It's not going. You're not going anywhere without it, right? So committing to get your body leaner, not just because you want to look good in and out of clothes, but because the healthier you are, the more you'll be able to do in your life, with your life, and you'll be able to show up in such a strong and different way for your loved ones. So here's how you stick to it. You need to make a commitment to yourself that you will be healthy and fit no matter how long it takes to get there. And then once you are there, you're going to learn how to maintain your healthy weight. And if you feel like this is taking too long to achieve, please go book a call with me right now and apply for either the group program or my private coaching, because I can streamline this process for you. To apply to the September group program, go to Weight Loss for Women Over 40. That's 40.net/group. For private coaching, go to Weight Loss for Women Over 40.net/private. I believe it's a hash, not a hashtag. What is that? It's not the bottom one. It's not the bottom line. It's the middle line, a minus sign, private coaching. All the links are in the show notes, so don't worry about it. Second, make huge, big ass goals for yourself. Make them the ones that you think that aren't possible, because they are possible. And again, that's the whole part of coaching, right? Getting a coach to elevate you to the possibility of what is available to you. Also, bring it down to day to day. Make sure the changes that you're making are small and doable for you. It's not about the actions you take until you know the mindset, your mindset is set up for success. And the third point, which leads me to, you need to get your brain on board before you can change anything around you. And that comes from understanding why you do the things that you do or the things that you don't do. You got to go deep and uncover what is holding you back. And the problem that I find, and this is also for myself, is because you don't see your blind spots. This is why I've always had a coach, and why I think it's imperative for you to have a coach to support you and point out those things that are getting in the way of what you say you want, right? We can't see our blind spots. It's like white noise. We don't see it. So how, and it's very familiar to you also. You need somebody who doesn't know you that well initially to point out where your blocks are. So again, this comes all back to mindset and how you look at yourself and the goals that you want to accomplish. Weight loss can be simplified. Doesn't have to be complicated. Doesn't have to be this big, heavy burden that you're like lugging through life. I can help you lose weight by helping you to stick to a weight loss plan, even when you want to give up. It's actually easier to quit when you do this on your own. But when you have a coach that you're not only accountable to, but gives you the tools to be accountable to yourself later on, so you can stick with it for the long term. That is the magic of what I do for my clients. So if this episode inspired you to take the next step, then head to my website and apply to work with me. Again, the group is open for enrollment, and all the details of the entire program are on the website. Go to weightlossforwomen over40.net/group, and you can learn all about it and apply. I am only taking 20 women for this fall group, and I have 2 spots already taken before it even launched. So you can learn more about it at weightlossforwomen over40.net/group and apply at the bottom of the page. If you want in-depth personal attention, then private coaching is the way to go. I am extremely selective as to who I work with because we are working so close together. You need to be a good fit. So to apply to private coaching, you can go to weightlossforwomen over40.net/private -coaching. There I am again. It'll be in the show notes. And if you're still on the fence and you're not sure, not a problem. Go grab my free ebook, 5 Reasons That You Are Not Losing Weight Over 40. And that can be found at weightlossforwomen over40.net/book. Again, all the links will be in the show notes, so you can click on them directly or simply go to my website, Weight Loss for Women Over 40. I think I've said that website the most in this podcast, in this particular episode. Anyway, it is all there. It's all there for you to look at. Yeah, so get your mindset in order, and then you'll be able to stick with the weight loss and be able to maintain it for the rest of your life. And if you want help, reach out to me. All right, so stay tuned for next week's episode on why you're not losing weight no matter what you try. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.